Yeah, if you can feel the energy, it is because the city that we live in is about to explode with Knicks frenzy. How about McNutt flying back from Boston, 1:30 in the morning. She's in here early this morning. Alan is ready to go today. The Windman is in Boston, and Big Perk is up early today as we've got hoops galore. Let's go. Boston was the scene last night. Tatum and the Celtics looking to bounce back in a critical Game 2 against Brunson and the Knicks. And this one went very much the way Game 1 went. Celtics open up a big lead in the first half, then extend it in the third quarter. It's an 11-point game, and then in this third, Monica, they open it up. Here's Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, and look, Jaylen Brown in particular was really on a mission in this ball game. He was aggressive, he was hitting threes, he was getting to the paint as well, and then that shot was kind of like, oh boy, here we go.
20, just where they wanted it.
2 games, we up 20 points. Somehow end up not with wins. It's inexcusable, but we're gonna learn from it. We're gonna respond.
Joe, what was the thought process with not calling timeout there with 12 seconds left?
Had one left, got a good look on the exact same play 20 seconds earlier, tried to execute the exact same thing. They did their job of their lower pickup point, and we weren't able to get the advantage that we had on the last Tatum dunk. So good full court setting. They subbed out Towns, weren't able to sub out Brunson, had action there, and we just didn't execute.
Okay, so put your feet up. We got plenty of time to dive into this. There are huge storylines, obviously, that abound. There is the big picture, and we will have time to get to that. But let's start in the little picture. Let's start at the end of the game. Wendy, you were there. Take us inside that. Mazzulla said he had what he wanted on the floor. He believed in what he had. He didn't call the timeout. He's getting roasted on Twitter, but that's not a good place to look for analysis. This is. Wendy, tell me about that last sequence.
Yeah, so I was in the Knicks locker room after the game, and I specifically asked OG Anunoby, did you and Mitchell Robinson talk about how to defend it differently? Because the first time it was a disaster. And he said there was no time. As soon as Tatum got the ball, they looked at each other and said they knew what was happening. They knew they were going to do the play. And all across the Knicks locker room last night, praise for Mitchell Robinson for the way he made the adjustment, dropping further back, denying Tatum his preferred right side, forcing him into the help. In the Celtics locker room, Greeny, the last plays of the last couple of games aside, it was obviously did not go the way they wanted. They're having difficulty coming to terms with what it is happening. They don't understand why they're losing. They believe their process is working. They believe they're generating good shots. They are doing the recipe that delivered them the championship and 61 wins, and they are not getting the bake out of the oven like they are used to. Obviously, there's variance with shooting. This doesn't make sense to them. They feel like they're doing a good job on Jalen Brunson. He's only shooting 35% in the series. They want Mikal Bridges taking all those contested jumpers as he made in the fourth quarter. He's shooting 29% in the series, but they're losing. They're at a little bit of a loss right now.
Well, I can help them if they're trying to figure this out. Cindy, can you put up A24? The Celtics in the fourth quarters of both of these games have completely disappeared. They've shot 15%. These are in the fourth quarters from 3. They've shot 26% from 2. They've been outscored by 22 points in the 24 minutes that make up the 2 fourth quarters. Let me get Big Perk in, and then we will get to the telestration. Big Perk, how about that final sequence last night? What did you see?
Well, look, everybody's an expert and everybody's a coach. Joe Mazzulla should have did this. He should have called a timeout. Joe Mazzulla has a history of taking timeouts home. He always want to have some salmon with some mashed potatoes in the side of timeouts when he gets in the crib. So I knew he wasn't going to call a timeout in this particular play. And guess what? He wasn't wrong though. You have the ball in your best player hands with a lot of time on the floor. Did you see the difference between Jason Tatum in that moment and Tyrese Halliburton in that same moment the other night when he got the offensive rebound? The patience, the way he was able to dribble out, get the spacing, saw that he had the mismatch, knew that he was going to his step back to hit the Cavs with a dagger 3. This is not on Joe Mazzulla. This is on the guys that are between those lines. This comes down to the heart and the mentality, right? And you think about, when I look at the Celtics, it's only one guy that is playing his ass off right now for the Boston Celtics on both ends of the floor, and that's Drew Holiday. He has the assignment of guarding Jalen Brunson, which he has done an excellent job of individually, not getting screened. And on top of that, he's producing offensively. This is on the backs of Tatum and Brown. They combined last night. They was, 13 for 42 from the field? That's unacceptable.
Yeah, Tatum in particular has really struggled. I will get to him in a second. Let's get to that final play, though, because you put together a tape.
Yeah. Well, this is, again, let's give credit where credit's due. This was a great defensive stop. Let's make sure we also acknowledge that. Tatum didn't have many options on this because Mitchell Robinson played it perfectly. Instead of dropping back, he went up when they saw that screen coming. Tatum also walks the ball up as opposed to the previous possession where they were going downhill. So right here you see Robinson's not behind the screen. He blitzes it, forces him to his left hand into the torture chamber where you have two wing players who were traded to the Knicks just for this moment right here. OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, that's where Robinson sends him into. And Tatum did not want to set himself up for a step-back three. You know why? 25 for 100 is why. It's in his head, too, not to settle for a three. I got to take it to the basket. Not comfortable on his left. He loses the ball a little bit. Give credit to Mitchell Robinson, a 7-footer, who was able to move his feet and understood the assignment. Force him to his left, send him to those wings, and let them do the rest. And that's how that game became a stop. That's how that became a win for the Knicks.
Yeah, to Perk's point, it's the player's job to make the coach look smart. The coach can look smart whichever way it goes. Yep. The players have to make the plays. Monica, you're doing the game there. For those who don't know, Monica does the Knicks radio. We'll show your call of the finish a little bit later this morning. It was excellent. But your thoughts on that final sequence? Your radio partner immediately says they don't use the timeout. Here they come. What did you see?
Mitchell Robinson was the star to me. Like, he was the absolute star, because I think if you go back to game one, first of all, not even just game one. Let's do the history of this series over the course of this particular season, right? The Knicks have really had to work through how they want to defend screens, and in fact, the Celtics have targeted them. There were some crazy numbers in terms of how many times they went after Karl-Anthony Towns in the regular season, so on and so forth. But in game one, you saw a commitment to not being the weak link, right? Guys who are going to take their one-on-one responsibilities seriously, and yes, rotations are a part of basketball. Those are going to follow up. But I think in that moment, again, it was one-on-one. Mitchell Robinson said, I'm not going to be the one, and then the help could rotate. I just think, Greeny, and I continue to say this, and I really believe this, if the Knicks were not tested the way they were by the Pistons, I'm not sure that this group is prepared to show up this way.
Great point.
I mean, I can give you the stat on the close games. Cindy, put up A29, if you would, please. The Knicks have now played 6 straight. A29 is 6 straight games decided by 3 points or fewer, which ties the longest streak in NBA playoff history. The last time it happened were the 81 Celtics, who went 4-2 over that stretch. So, Big Perk, let's talk about that for a minute here, because I liked where you were going. The reality is coaches make decisions. It's the player's job to make them look good or look bad. Jason Tatum has had just